Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. So long time no see. It's almost for 1 week. So last time, Lisa and I just do the live streaming show, and now it's Friday. It's my turn now. So again, let me do a self introduction. I'm Amanda from Tianjin Tofa Electrical Power Technology Cooperation Limited, and you can also call it as TTF power system. And you can see this is another background, and I didn't have the blackboard. That's because that blackboard reflects the window, and now I think, oh, maybe it's great to change the background. But now I can also see the window. I believe, but it's okay. So I want to see that every week we will have 2 times of live streaming show. So I hope you can stay tuned for our channel, and we will try to share more interesting electrical knowledge, and also those kind of product details if you are interested in powerline hardware. And our channel is a channel you cannot be missed. So let's move on to our today's topic, that is the powerline insulator. So I will basically have a brief introduction of these different types of products inside this category, powerline insulator. So you don't want to miss it, right? So let's get started. First of all, I have a brief introduction. So powerline insulator is a critical component in overhead electrical transmission systems. So it also was used in the line construction or line transmission and distribution systems. So they prevent the electrical current leakage from the overhead conductors on power towers, poles, like utility poles, or other structures to the surroundings. Our insulator products include corner ring, pin insulator, post insulator, shackle insulator, suspension insulator, and more. So in the following agenda, I will talk about those different kind of products, like its definition, application, usage of all these kind of types. So let's get started with the first product that we say the corner ring. So what is corner ring? The corner ring is intended to reduce the noise generated by corona voltage. It is made up of rings that are attached to the insulator's ends and the bushings that are also attached to another transmission line fittings. Corona discharge is also prevented at this set of installation. So corona discharge occurs at the of most transmission line installations. The corona rings are put in this exact location. They encircle such places and are also connected to the conductors of the transmission line. Additionally, enclosing the insulators help to lessen the potential gradient within the insulator's specific spots. The corona rings-like structure help to distribute the electrical discharge from a localized area to a large area. This ensures that the charges will not build up to the point where they will trigger a discharge. Corona rings are comprised of aluminum metal rings that can resist 230 volts voltages. They also come in a variety of diameters, with the diameter you choose based on the voltage passing through the transmission line. They are effective enough to keep the insulators from breaking down. Now let's move to its features of the corona ring. So the first, it can be installed in any direction as it's unidirectional. And second, it's ideal for voltages over than 230 watts. And third, that is TTF power systems. both various ring diameters, and we can also, based on your requirements, to meet your power and utility needs. So after talking about the corner ring, let's talk about the pin insulator. So in the back, I didn't have any agenda. So basically, I'm just talk about it. You can follow my words and my sentences, the other things that I uttered, and to follow my lead, and we can get to know all the kind of knowledge you want to know in the power line insulators. So let's move on the pin insulator. The first question is definition. What is exactly the pin insulator? The pin insulator is a type of low voltage insulator that is used in power transmission and distribution lines with voltage reading from 11 kV to 33 kV. The insulator is held in place by a pole top pin and grips pin. Therefore, the name pin insulator, the original source of this name. So that is are available in a variety of materials, including porcelain, ceramic, silicon rubber, and polymer. So these are good kind of materials to be an insulator. And I and Lisa talk about it in our former live streaming show. So if you are interested, you can go and to follow our former videos. And a pin insulator is typically mounted on a telephone pole, utility pole, our power transmission tower, like the high voltage tower, with cables and wires dressed to the top. It is built in the shape of an umbrella or an upside down bowl to cover the inside parts from the ring and keeps them insulated. And I have to see, you can watch these kind of products, like the pictures, in our website, that is ttfpower.com. And you can also find in our description, and I have already write down all this website and our connection informations in the description box. And if you're interested, you can also leave a comment below. And now let's talk about the mounting position of the pin insulator. The pin insulator can be held in a vertical or horizontal position by the pole top pin, which is normally made of galvanized steel. It should be long enough to withstand the conductor's high voltage and high stress. The price of a pin insulator is rather modest when compared to other electrical insulators, notably conventional porcelain types. So for TTF, we are a pin insulator manufacturer with a wide range of designs, materials, and standards criteria for you to choose. And you can also talk about all your needs with our technicians, and we'll based on your requirements to make the high quality and best selling products that you need. And let's move on to the next topic, that is how to use a porcelain pin insulator. So we have to know the function of it, like the different parts of it. It's normally made of two different parts. That is a porcelain section and a steel pole top pin. So the conductor is attached to the insulator on the top groove of a pin insulator, which is mounted on a cross arm of a utility pole or a tower. So let's move on to the first topic, that is the features of the pin insulator. And there are tons of the good advantages of the pin insulator. That includes its high mechanical strength, proper creepage distance, modest price, and that's the most important thing. I think most customers or clients are very kind of care about our price. So we can assure that we have the good quality, and we also offer the reasonable and modest price, which you will not be disappointed by our product. And it will also be used vertically or horizontally, and it also have a simple construction and also easy maintenance. Okay, after talking about the pin insulator and the coronary, let's move on to the post insulator. So what is post insulator and what it is used for? Let's talk about it. Post insulators are commonly applied in low and high voltage systems, and there are line post insulators and station post insulators for diverse applications. Line post insulators are installed on the transmission line's electrical pole. Line post insulators are classified into various varieties based on their intended use and positioning on the pole. Tie-top line post insulators, horizontal and vertical line post insulators, underarm line post insulators, and climb-top line post insulators are all available in TTF power systems. In electrical power plants, transmission and distribution submissions, and other electrical facilities with voltage up to 1100 kV station post provides insulation and structural support for the posts. And for its materials, the post insulators can be manufactured of porcelain or silicon polymer. They are made to standard dimensions and designed for specific markets, so they can meet the electrical and mechanical requirements of IC and ANSI standards and customers and specifications. And what applications do post insulators have? Up to 1100 kV, the post insulator can be applied in transmission lines, distribution plants, and switchgear systems. Okay, so what about the features of the post insulator? Post insulators will provide the following characteristics: excellent creepage distance between 1 and 1100 kV. Multiple insulators can be connected for higher voltage applications. Okay, the next product or item is shackle insulator. What is shackle insulator? The shackle insulator are also known as spool insulator or butterfly insulator. That is different types of name. So this is a kind of insulator that is commonly used on low voltage transmission and distribution lines. It is designed to insulate and support the secondary wires. These shackle insulators can be fastened to the pole directly with a bolt or to the electrical cross arm, or with the addition of the iron brackets or secondary racks to provide additional support and insulation. They can be mounted either horizontally or vertically. All of these shackle insulators from TTF power systems are designed, manufactured, and tested in accordance with the international standards such as GB, IC, AS, BS, ANSI, and others. According to customer requirements, we can also provide shackle insulators with various specifications such as different kV of systems, types, colors, size, measurements, and of course, a different price. Okay, and then let's talk about these features of the shackle insulator. There are four different characteristics of it. That is high impact resistance, both vertical and horizontal positions. And there is a note here that is It can be only used in the low voltage transmission distribution networks. And the third one is a replacement for porcelain. So let's drink some water. I think I'm a little bit tired. And I hope everyone will have a refreshing mood. And now it's Friday, and we just have to hold on to one day, and we can have a good weekend. And also in your work time, please be remembered to stay hydrated and to drink water more often. So let's move on to our next topic, our next agenda. That is stay insulator. What is a stay insulator and what is used for? Stay insulator, a type of string insulator that are frequently used in rural and railway medium and low voltage lines. The stay insulator is also known as the egg insulator or the guy insulator. A kind of weird name. Yeah, okay. So the stay insulator is typically installed in the middle of stay wire or gap wire. It can be provide sufficient insulation for the utility pole and stay clamp. The insulator should be comprised of compressive strength materials such as high-quality porcelain in TTF stay insulator. And what is the best way to use the stay insulator? So the porcelain stay insulator is installed in the middle of the stay wire, which connects the utility pole to the ground at both ends. It acts as a barrier between the two components, the two electrical components. And the features of the stay insulators, there were 3 points. That is, it's used in the low or medium wattage systems. And despite its small sizes, it has a tensile strength, great high tensile strength. And for its materials, that includes the porcelain or ceramic. Okay, let's move on to our next products, which also is the final products, that is a suspension insulator. So what is a suspension insulator? Suspension insulators are rugged, high-resistance insulators that are well situated, suited to endure higher voltage loads in a variety of electrical systems, working under a wide range of environmental circumstances. And the suspension insulator is made of string of insulator discs placed onto a malleable rod, and it is made of waterproof, robust materials. This flexible design allows for swing movement in the inclement weather, reducing pressure on the insulator and extending its service life. Furthermore, the suspension insulator's ingenious design allows you to add or replace insulator discs as needed, saving the time, cost, and the risks of changing the entire insulator. This model is also compatible with a wide selection of accessories, such as insulator string, corona rings, and fittings, making it a popular choice in a variety of sectors. Okay, and now let's move on to the features of it. There are tons of different characteristics, include time and cost effective, adaptable construction, high voltage resistivity, accessory compatible, and minimal maintenance, flexible string design, versatile application, replaceable discs, weather resistance, and also it has been made for the durable materials, like we just talked about the waterproof materials. And there are some tips you have to take into consideration or you have to pay attention to. That is, to minimize unsafe conditions, the assembly, installation, and maintenance of suspension insulators must always be done with help of the professional personnel. Before installing an insulator, make sure it's suitable with the electrical circuit. So when you try to install it, you have to be under the professional guidance, and you have also to see if it is suitable or fit with your circuits, like the electrical wires or cables. And now let's move on to the next question, the next topic, that is how suspension insulators work. Suspension insulators are used to restrict the flow of electricity of certain zone of an electrical circuit as an insulator. This voltage distribution regulation, which works in tandem with the conductors, which assist the electrical flow, ensures that the circuit operates safely and efficiently. Suspension insulators are made out of a flexible metal rod with a string of insulator discs attached to it. Each disc has a low voltage capacity, which allows the stress of a high voltage load to be dispersed over discs and reduces the possibility of overloading. The insulator's compartmentalized architecture also ensures that if one disc falls, the integrity of the remaining insulated discs are not jeopardized or damaged. The insulator is drawn at the end of length of insulator string that is attached to the pole, our power transmission tower, when it is installed. The cross arm assists the insulator clamp in keeping the insulator in the proper position. Okay, and let's move on to the final agenda of today's topic, that is how are the suspension insulator installed. Suspension insulator installation should always be done by specialists, like the professional specialists who have all this appropriate safety equipment. The following are the fundamental procedures in installing a suspension insulator after in this proper place, that is clearing the set of any debris and setting the insulator pieces on protective covering are the first step. So we have to find the most proper positioning or to staying for the suspension insulator. And for its assembly, thread the desired number of discs on the insulator rod and secure the necessary connection hardware. And hoisting into the position, the assembled insulator is then slowly raised to the desired location using a pulley mounting insulator. The insulator is then aligned into position using the cross arms or the insulator clamp. End fittings and cornerings can be used to fit the suspension insulator even more. So that's all the things I want to talk about, like the other powerline insulator products details, which we have talked about the cornering pin insulator, post insulator, shackle insulator, stay insulator, and as well as our last um, topic, that is suspension insulator. We talked about all these 6 products for the powerline hardware, like powerline insulator, and I think that's all the content I want to talk about. And also, I want you to remember RTTF will always be your backup of your power and utility need. We will help you for the installation or construction for your power line or the line construction. And I hope if you have any needs for power line hardware, this kind of electrical power engineering tools, you can find us and follow us in case you have the further needs for this kind of materials and components. And we have the great qualification, we have the best product quality and reasonable and a modest price which can meet your needs and requirements. And we also have those interesting videos to share in YouTube, TikTok, or in Twitter Facebook. There are also social platforms you can find us in TTF Power Systems. And I also hope you have a good day, no matter you're at night or in the morning or in the noon. I wish you just have a good day and keep happy and keep motivated every day. So stay tuned for our TTF Power Systems. And so in the afternoon, Lisa will also have a live streaming show. I hope you can also like our content. Maybe you can like, comment, share in for our live streaming shows, and I hope you enjoy. Okay, and bye bye. I'll end up here. Goodbye, everyone.